Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is DB333, and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4, The New Order, Last Days of Europe as the United States of America. Now, in the last video, we had two pretty big things happen back to back. One is that the elections went through, and we have one Robert Francis Kennedy in office right now, preparing to, pass a massive Civil Rights Act, but he's doing the opening moves real quick before we do that. On top of that, we ended the war in South Africa. We got a pretty reasonable peace deal. We could have pushed further, but I didn't want to deal with the drama that came with that after, so, you know, here we are. We're ready to move on. And real quick, I'm going to open up the espionage thing and see if we can't find a way to... Alright, we don't have any active agents, so we can't do anything right now, but whenever we get the chance, we'll try to do it. Okay. Operational success. Well done, gentlemen. Having made contact with General Redacted and showing incriminating photos to him during the post-war conference, applied pressure in the form of threats to release compromising material to Redacted, submitted, and declared that he would make every effort to align military goals with British civilian government. So far, Redacted and officers directly answerable to him have made good to this progress. Military aid and reconstructive efforts, noticeable reduction of infighting between civilian bureaucrats and military liaison officers, allocation of manpower to groundbreaking projects proposed by the government, infrastructure projects proceeding satisfactorily. As of now, no declassification of military documents has occurred. We'll be meeting with General Redacted again if this has not changed within 1 month's time. Overall appraisal of operation, successful. Eagle's Nest to Bobcat, bravo. The progressives. How are we doing in South America? Middle East, not too much to do. Indonesia, let's try to... We'll cripple Indonesian operational integrity. Best of luck to you guys. Alright, we got another mission to do. We'll do a necessary sacrifice. None have contributed more to Black America's suffering than the Dixiecrats of old and new. This geriatric brand of white good old boys holds an iron grip on the reins of power throughout the South, eager to defend Jim Crow under the flimsy pretense of states' rights. One wonders why supposedly free men continue to live like slaves in Alabama, Louisiana, and a dozen other states. Look no further. Unfortunately, such cretins also comprise a sizable portion of the NPP, since having split from the Democrats, Wells and his cronies rail against the slightest push for civil rights from our corner of Congress. His word carries far beyond our party and across party lines to millions of like-minded Americans. Despite his misgivings, President Kennedy has decided to parlay for the party right in a series of publicized meetings. No doubt we will demand concessions in exchange for support, but we do not have a luxury of choice. Either the Civil Rights Act passes, albeit heavily reduced, or it does not pass at all. We have, the NPPY getting some support. Old Yaki. Uh-oh. That's not good. Oh, it's gone. Thank God. Yaki was rearing his ugly fucking head. We'll get some better civilian construction going. Cut civilian spending again. Go ahead and cut the deficit, the debt a little bit more. I'm fine with keeping military spending as it is, honestly. There we go. We have disrupted the chain of command. Beautiful. I'm thinking we might want to do something else, because I know the war is going to be coming soon enough. will aid the free Indonesian operation. There we go. Another 50 million down. Best of luck to him. Our budget's going to be low for the rest of things, but hey, what are you going to do? Oh! They lost Uganda, boys. Hutik has fallen apart. Okay, in memoriam. The assassination of John F. Kennedy was not just another shock to American politics. It was also a great personal tragedy to his brother Robert. The younger Kennedy has struggled with his grief for a long time and has often even blamed himself for his elder brother's demise. Now that he's in power, he has decided that the best thing he can do is honor John's legacy by embodying everything that he stood for. Dignity, equality, and emboldening the spirit of America. There we go. President Kennedy felt increasingly confident every time he faced the press in the White House briefing room. He never felt confident in public speaking, but he felt he was getting better at addressing the nation. Even so, he never had jack skills. That man could talk his way out of a pair of handcuffs. Momentarily saddened, he banished all thought of his brother for the moment from his mind as the television cameras blinked on. It wouldn't be a good look for him to tear up in front of America. My fellow Americans, today I speak to you not just as your president, but as your leader, the helmsman of the great ship we call the United States. I come to you with a single word: unity. When our founding fathers carved out this great nation out of the wilderness, their greatest strength was an unassailable unity. A spirit of togetherness and brotherhood which could carry them through any trial, no matter how grim. He took a deep breath. Time for the payload. There'd be plenty of his supporters out there in TV land who wouldn't like this, but they'd have to rip the band-aid off sooner or later. It's no secret that some of the National Progressive Party do not support the policy of our administration, including the great cause of civil rights. I hereby say, before God and America, that in my administration, I will not let the United States be divided by petty factionalism in its government. I intend to work with major figures in Congress outside of the party on the issue of civil rights, particularly with the venerable Senator from Texas, Lyndon Johnson. Together, the NPP and the RDs can present a united front on civil rights, ensuring that a fair shake is given to Americans who need it most. Together, we can do great things. President Kennedy felt proud of himself as he stepped from the podium. Unity. A message just about anyone could believe in. At least he hoped the viewers viewed it that way. The only thing that will redeem mankind is cooperation. So, RD support will increase while NPP support will decrease in the South. That's actually not that bad, actually. Yeah, that's okay. I'm fine with that. We'll do naval helicopter aviation, I guess. And we got a little bit more of a bungled up thing there. Operational expense. Presence from America. I do solemnly swear. I have a feeling that that's going to kick off a civil war. But hey, we'll wait and see, I guess. Pakistan becomes independent. Very interesting. Who do they got? Social democracy. Oh, they want libertarian socialism. Interesting. In memoriam. Now, what we have next is with malice towards none. It's time to get working on it. Our nation has always been a melting pot for multitudes of people of all colors and creeds, and yet the idea of America as a nation for whites alone persists. It was the people's desire to put an end to this tired old sentiment that swept Robert Kennedy into power. Or Kennedy, I should say. If we are to move forward as one country, we must remove the legal obstacles to the full integration of all races as a guarantee that all might be afforded the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We are likely to face stiff opposition from Southern conservatives and even from within the far-right ranks of our own party, but we must push on in the name of a fairer and more equal America. There we go, with malice towards none. Is there enough of charity towards all? John F. Kennedy was a major politician and the leaders of the Democratic Party's fledgling social progressive circles. Throughout his life and career, he earnestly advocated for these forward-looking ideas during his time in Congress. A champion of the growing civil rights movement in the United States, he rallied young voters to the cause of political equality as well as the need for a government that is actively progressive for the welfare of its citizens. Shortly after Nixon's resignation, he ascended to the presidency but was shot weeks later. His brother, Robert Kennedy, has now ascended to the presidency and plans to continue his father's legacy where he left off. In the various appearances before the public, he has made it clear that he will govern with the same ideals and principles espoused by his brother, the struggle for civil rights and the fate of segregation, a topic about which John F. Kennedy was especially vocal, defines a large part of his campaign. Robert Kennedy has heralded the proposed Civil Rights Act as one of the cornerstones of his campaign, vowing to pass the bill during his term. Also important is Kennedy's economic policy, also largely inspired by his father. Under his leadership, he claims, the federal government will actively work to combat poverty through welfare programs, state grants, and other initiatives. It seems his brother's socially progressive agenda will ring true in all of his actions as president. Well, bless him. So the Gulf governance has seemed to hold on in there. Joe Schmidt found little enjoyment in his menial night job stocking shelves at Carnes Quality Foods, but if he wanted to be the first in his family to attend college, he'd need more than a few bucks to his name. Putting every penny in the bank, he scribbled and he saved, spending weekends watching the tube instead of taking chicks to the movies with his buddies. The only thing keeping him going, sleepless night after sleepless night, were his dreams of Sunday throwing his academic cap in the air. Shelving cereal boxes on autopilot, Joe found himself remembering the news he'd caught on CBS the previous weekend. Apparently, President Kennedy had given a speech on the importance of education for America's youth, and had expressed support for working-class people going to college. Joe had been surprised to hear that after years of his parents telling him that politicians didn't care about people like him. Maybe the president was just trying to garner votes, but did his attentions really matter so long as he kept his word? Finishing his cereal, Joe got to work on the coffee and tea. Was it possible that the president really cared about people like him? Joe had been too young to vote in '64, but even if he had been old enough, he and his family's lack of faith in the establishment, formed after generations of alienation and disenfranchisement, would have likely kept him from the polling booth. Nevertheless, he heard a lot about President Kennedy's policies on TV, and found himself agreeing with a lot of that. He hoped that didn't make him a liberal. Dad wouldn't like that. Stacking cans of powdered milk, Joe pictured himself receiving a scholarship. Perhaps it was time he registered to vote. The wise man knows not to mess with Tammany Hall. Well, there we go. The eagle will never cry again. Oh, no. Well, it depends on who they're going with Samara. It doesn't look like we're going to... Wait. No, they don't want the Zykov plan, strangely enough. Okay. So Samar might actually not be the worst option. Here. Has over 25 regional obfuscation. We need a little bit more money, which we don't have. With malice towards none. Let's put our foot in the door. So the difference between all of these, I'll explain it real quick. March straightforward, you have to have a majority of your party members. So NPPC all the way. And you can pass, I think it's like radical civil rights, or there are different levels of a civil rights bill that give you different levels of benefits. I think this is like the highest level, where if you put your foot in the door, you get more cooperation with Republicans, and you might be able to bypass the filibuster. They might not be able to. And you also get to name a bipartisanship, work together on legislation, and pass some pretty solid stuff. And then you can sideline Dixiecrats and do all this to strengthen up the bill. Putting your foot in the door means that you have to kind of weaken your bill down a bit, in theory, to get it passed by the Republicans. But if you do all this, it kind of bounces back out, so I think you get, like, radical civil rights. Well, I think this I think you get, like enforced affirmative action all the way. Radical is a little bit different. I forget exactly the levels. So, and then if you slam the door in their faces, you propose a bill so crazy and wacky that when you water it down and make it look less radical, people were like, okay, we talked him down, when in theory you're going to get the bill that you want. I've never tried this one before. Putting your foot in the door works well. Name a bipartisanship gets you some pretty good policies anyway, so I don't know why you wouldn't do that. Many within the party center consider Republicans to be our natural allies in the front fight for civil rights, separated from us only by party lines drawn up in the chaos that followed the Second World War. Indeed, they had voiced their support for the last such act in the past, and their frustrations when Nixon vetoed it. Should we invariably propose another, they may well prove to be better allies than our party right. Negotiating with Johnson is crucial for guaranteeing the act's passage. Success means a stable coalition that will advance and safeguard the Civil Rights Act of all Americans for the rest of President Kennedy's term. For that alone, compromise is worth the backlash the administration may receive within the NPP. Well, there we are. Speaking of PP, we have a lot. Our PP game is fucking huge right now. Holy shit. And so... one of our mechanics is dealing with that far right. Oh! We prefer independence with poverty to servitude with plenty. Seko Torre. Free Indonesia declares war on Indonesia. Well, the jungle's burning. And so I'm guessing we're going to get an event in a couple days that'll dictate how we proceed with this. Or we'll just go ahead and do Burning Jungle, pick up Red Phone, and do some other stuff. Let me see. Yeah, Free Indonesia. They're hanging on. Slowly but surely. We'll see what ends up happening. It seems like we're going to get some troops here. They're doing okay on Borneo, it seems. In fact, I think they might take the island. Put the front door. Now we got to do the Burning Jungle real quick. Indonesia's flame. What is the situation? The time has finally come to discuss civil rights on a national level. Our new Civil Rights Act is not as comprehensive as it could be, yes, but it has almost guaranteed support from more liberal Republicans, what more radical legislation might not have. Plus, if we can most likely count on the support from moderate Republicans if we treat them with a certain level of respect. When it comes to civil rights, we most certainly need every iota of support we can muster. With this bill, we stand ready to help America live up the dream of a free nation where all are guaranteed life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The only real roadblock is all of the so-called brilliant minds and wonderfully colorful personalities of the Congress, especially from the patriots of the far right. We owe it to Americans of all races, colors, and creeds to do our damned hardest to get this act passed and create a nation where we can really finally say that everything is created equal. We've certainly got our work cut out for us, but it's worthwhile indeed. Let's get to work. Moderate bills are the only one we can hope to pass. Well, I don't know about that. Send volunteers. We can go ahead and send volunteers. Seems for now, we can only send one. So, like last time, we'll go ahead and send a volunteer. Frank Benson, Godspeed, sir. Okay, we're already losing stuff in the capital, so hopefully we'll get there in time and help him out. Our analysts' predictions regarding the East Indies have proven frightfully accurate. Sukarno's attempt at using martial law to solve a crisis with PKI has been a dismal failure. After years of frustration with his despotic administration, Liberal Democrat Mohammed Hatta has stood up against Sukarno under the banner of Free Indonesia. While Sukarno may stress that everything is under control, Hatta is moving swiftly to seize the country, having already taken large swaths of Aceh, Borneo, and Papua. This could be a critical opportunity for the United States to gain a new ally against Japanese domination of Asia, so long as we act quickly. The jungle's burning. We'll go and pick up the red phone. Given that both of us are nuclear powers, it stands to reason that we must tread carefully with interfering with co-op's sphere. While Japan seems to be controlled by level-headed men, we must still be careful to have a line between isolation and being mavericks. We must place a call to the Japanese on the road telephone. We'll assure them that we have no interest in sending Japanese boys home with American bullets in them. And our commitment to the democratic movement around the world brings us a moral obligation to support those who fight freedom in Indonesia. Reminding them of Indonesia's technical independence and sovereignty, we will caution them against launching intervention into the East Indies and remind them that threatening the freedom of a sovereign people may have dire consequences. San Diego Convention Center was host to a large Rashes NPP rally following the recent onset of hostilities in Indonesia. Much like the rest of California, America's finest cities simmered with anti-Japanese rhetoric. Now that an opportunity to strike back against their sworn nemesis has appeared. The stammer turned to violent geysers, sweeping San Diego citizenry in equal parts rage and euphoria. "Let's get those slimy fucking bastards while they're down!" shouted Jeffrey Calloway amidst a rabble-roused crowd. The college student carried with him an old propaganda poster from the Second World War, held high above his head, made indistinct from the forest of the upraised arms around him, but he seemed to care little. "Bomb them all! Bomb them all!" What the mantra he and the rally breathed out as one before they unleashed their pent-up energy onto downtown San Diego later that night. The mood in MCRS San Diego was contrastedly subdued. Grunts grumbled as grunts are wont, of course. But many also wore ribbons and pins from South Africa, dusty, gory South Africa. Needless to say, a good number harbored little appetite for another adventure so soon after the last. Lance Corporal Timothy Crossbow carried his opinions louder and more bluntly than his colleagues. "We've already stuck our dicks into the Vel," said a Marine. "Look how that went for us. A couple 10,000 of our boys are sent home on a flag, and the corpse thoughts and prayers. Now they're sending us to some malaria-infested jungle in the middle of nowhere. Pay better be better, at least." Like the infamous volcanoes, Indonesia has erupted into the worst fighting since the peninsula has seen since the Second World War. The three worlds clamor for an invention into the rising sun and soft underbelly to loosen the empire whose hold over these Indies oppressed. But South Africa remains fresh in many minds. Does America have the will to stomach one more than another, they ask. We'll always stand up to tyranny. What kind of question is that? Before I go, let me check. I did get this. Very good. That's what I was worried about. We're going to have that bonus in jungles, which is what we're really going to need, I think. Helicopters are looking great so far. Light aircraft. For our air doctrines, we'll do some military construction. And quite frankly, I think we're going to be fine coming up. Thieves and bandits cannot defeat an army. Oh dear. They're already taking the capital. Okay, where is our guy? It's not preferable. I'll tell you that. I sure as well hell would have rather been in, isn't this... What? Sumatra, right. Sure as hell would have rather been in Sumatra than, you know, there. But we'll work with it. We'll push through Papua. And I think now we can actually send another one of our boys over, which will be very, very good. Free Indonesia. Send volunteers. Yep. We'll send the other chopper boy right over. think we'll go ahead and strengthen the Civil Rights Act. As always, Wallace, Thurman, and the far-right Dixies remain headaches to work with. They have not offered the slightest bit of compromise on the issue of civil rights, instead content with wailing and screaming about their sacralistic states' rights whenever approached. To outsiders, they are a putrid stain on the NPP. To our supporters, they are a testament to the NPP's duplicity and hypocrisy. To the NPP itself, they are a metastasizing cancer willing to throw away party unity for selfish gain. Owing to our weak position in Congress, we once again had no choice but to seek their support in order to buttress the NPP's votes. Times have changed, however, and we are now in position to make do without theirs. President Kennedy, now in the best time to boot these upjacked rattlesnakes and alligators out of the party he leads. Strengthen the Civil Rights Act and get us few votes at risk of angering Dixiecrats, and they'll trust us less if we go through with this. But hey, they shouldn't have been racist, and I don't know what to tell them. Okay, there we are. We'll go ahead and take it up here. Don't get the effects of civilian austerity, that's fine. We'll go ahead, take these two little provinces up here, and then we'll move in through Moluccas. Let me open up Indonesian Civil War. Free Indonesia is already not looking good. Jesus. Oh. Let's take Ternate, actually. Actually, we can't take Ternate. That's fine. They already seem to be falling back a bit anyway, so we'll go for the Moluccas instead. These guys we deal with soon enough, so we'll probably be able to take them afterwards. Might have to be careful about being cut off. Move into Kendari. See, they might have to worry about being cut off. Hold up. Go ahead and weaken yourself on me. Go ahead. Do it. Okay, so that's another of our volunteers. Where is he at? Same place, roughly. We'll get him signed with the good old general. And what are you doing over there, huh? Try to move here before they... Okay. They're moving back, though, it seems. Or... Hold on. Can I do a quick little encirclement here? Oh, they're trying to push me. Yeah, I'll fall back. Take a better defensible position there. Wipe these out. Yep, there we go. Going after Central European Council, I could have told you that would happen. We'll go and try to take these guys out. Oh. Didn't work out well for you, did you? Did it, pal? And look where that ended up taking you. Right where you began. Okay, we'll fight them out over here. Got more civvy factories. We'll go ahead and do some good old industry stuff. Build some more civvy factories in general. Get that GDP up. Cut down on civilian spending once again. Get rid of that deficit. Well, we can. And the Reichsstaat is falling apart. That is good to see. Actually, we'll do this. Ternate has been taken. We'll go ahead and do Mandalo. Take the north here. Oh, what are you boys doing? Nothing intelligent, it seems. There we go. And now we're moving up through the north here. Our boys are looking brilliant, I gotta say. We're doing very well. In one surprise release, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer announces to millions of eager American children that the most famous cat and mouse duo has come to CBS. A press release from broadcasting channel itself said that the new episodes of the award-winning cartoon show Tom and Jerry will feature in this weekend's morning lineup alongside reruns of shorts made by Gene Dietich and the original creators Hanna-Barbera. The series has undergone numerous changes in both art style and content since their introduction to the viewing public in 1940, but MGM has promised to maintain their consistently high quality of comedy it is known for. With the venerable Chuck Jones of Warner Brothers cartoons fame, in charge of the reboot, others believe the Big Five studio have every reason to be confident in their claims. Regardless of details, fans both young and old have since expressed their ecstasy in seeing the duo's slapstick escapades every Saturday morning with bags of heartfelt mail delivered to MGM's post-box office. The feature seems bright for a centerpiece of an entire generation's childhood, and may just remain such for as long as it continues to run. Perfection debuts on the little screen. There we go. I want to check the war again. And check. For Indonesia, I think we're doing better than last time I checked, but, yeah. Shit. Move here. Come on, soldiers. There we go. Sideline of Dixiecrats. Alright, so let's go ahead. Let's meet with civil rights leaders. The repudiation of walls was accompanied by a sudden influx of support from America's civil rights community. This cause and effect relationship is easy to explain. After all, they had suffered more from most of the Jim Crow laws are now diminishing party right, have enthusiastically advocated. Siding with our erstwhile coalition means siding with those who made them and their forebears' lives slavery long after it was abolished. An opportunity to work closer with these advocates for freedom has presented itself in front of us. Having done with the party's garbage, President Kennedy can now formally reach out to colored men and women at the forefront of the civil rights movement. Co-opting their strength will be a boon like no other for the NPP. Nothing breaks the ice better than bonding over the woes of a shared enemy. There we go. Well. That wasn't the best move, was it, buddy? Control Indonesia. Okay, move down here, take Palu. Okay, wiped out that guy. See if we can't kind of box these guys in. Meet with civil rights leaders. We'll try to curry Republican favor by working together on legislation. In spite of the rhetoric and our politeness, we and the Republicans share a common value and ambition towards America's ultimate betterment. It is perhaps on only relatively minor issues where we diverge in opinion and approach, though these differences are not so stark as to preclude hesitant tendrils of cooperation on both sides. President Kennedy believes that we reaching out to them with concessions to said issues will better incline them to work with the NPP in areas where bipartisanship has truly taken root, most notably in civil rights. Only together can we bring America back to good feeling after all, and togetherness only begins when everyone has a reason to join at all. Makes sense to me. Okay, we'll stop the attacks there. We'll let these guys get their org and their supply back. And we might try for a two-prong attack. Take these guys out here. Oh shit, right. Better on pause. Strom Thurman's no stranger to the filibuster. Blather, waste time, drag your feet, swaddle everything in red tape, weigh the issue down in chains, and throw it into the Potomac. Him and his cronies will do anything to slow down the cause of justice, so President Kennedy wasn't surprised to find out he was doing it again. The president lightly hung up the receiver of the phone, fists balled, jaw clenched. He wanted to slam it down, but refused to give a corpulent old toad the satisfaction of seeing him riled. So how's that? After all the talk and the smoozing and the gland handling, this endless fucking heart-rending compromises, Thurman and his goons were just gonna dig their heels in the mud and refuse to move, like an ornery camel. All that work wasted just so the right-wingers of the party could keep their flagging dream of a segregationist future alive. So much for bipartisanship. Kenny narrowed his eyes for a moment. Drumming his fingers on his desk, he wondered if this was entirely wise. If he did this, he would forever alienate the rightists by cutting them out of the legislative process of his administration. Nah, fuck him, he thought. They were trying to do the same thing to him. Difference was he was the president. Smiling as he picked up the receiver, Kennedy dialed the office of Lyndon Baines Johnson. Senator Thurman, your ship has sailed. We already knew that the nation was watching our efforts to pass the Civil Rights Act with bated breath. Perhaps, however, we didn't quite realize how bated that national breath really was. Recently, both Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X have jointly asked to come speak to President Kennedy about their struggle with civil rights. While MLK and Malcolm X certainly had, and continue to have, their differences, MLK emphasized peaceful protests, while Malcolm X championed civil rights by ballot or by bullet. They certainly agree that civil rights is the most important issue that these United States face, and agree that a joint request to speak RFK will have more weight and importance than the two separate requests. Frankly, they're right. They have the weight of most of America's black population behind them. That level of support is hard to ignore. Plus, it's just the right thing to do. As we get our own perspectives of actual civil rights leaders, as we attempt to pass our own Civil Rights Act. On the other hand, inviting to the White House will certainly lead to an outcry from certain choice elements in Congress. Do we take them up on their invitation? Shall we talk over lunch? Okay, let's try to... We're better positioned to go after them now, I think. And we'll try going after this guy here. Push for two of them out, and then try to head over to East Kalamitian. Cause some issues. Civilian construction. Hopefully we can take these guys out so we can get an encirclement or some divisions wiped out. I doubt that'll happen, but it's a nice thought. Wait. Oh! No, wait. Yeah, they just retreated back over there. That's... Okay, we'll send you over here. You hold the line, soldier. There you go. Okay, relieve these troops over here. Okay, we're going to try to take the port as soon as we can. And I think we have an encirclement. A big, glorious encirclement going. Move them out of Palopo. The glorious encirclement. We might not have a glorious build, but we have a glorious encirclement, guys. Move in here. Nope. Sorry, fellas. Sverdlovsk reunifies West Siberia. I'm hoping that'll give us a certain Yeltsin character. Because that would be fun. Basic battleship hulls. Naval helicopter aviation. Let's check the war as it stands now. How are we doing? Oh, we're doing relatively the same, actually. Okay, but we took out some guys. Indonesia is... Well, we still have more casualties, but we're catching up. Death of Ho Chi Minh. Oh. We're holding the line, actually. Holy shit. Fuck, we might get encircled if we don't. Yeah, we gotta. We had the right idea going. Not always the best execution, though. But hey. We're making progress. Without a doubt. We'll keep pushing these guys back, and then we'll reunite the two copters. Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. We'll take their port and then just wipe them out here. There we go. In the name of bipartisanship. Next, we'll get working on talking with Malcolm X. Malcolm X is the most vociferous and aggressive, definitely most controversial civil rights advocate in modern American political landscape. Leader of a nation of Islam, he pontificates passionately against the injustices meted to the black man by his old slave master across the South. If the solution he prefers for America's racial divide is that the white man he so loathes, not to heal it, but to widen and deepen it. His time on the black man's own initiative. His words are appalling and offensive to the sensibilities of many. Nevertheless, hatred runs deep and far from many of the thousands who would take him to heart. Organizing a meeting with such a radical figure will doubtlessly cause backlash among the more integration-minded of our country and party. However, hope remains that an impasse can be reached, however, and President Kennedy has worked with far less than hope before. Oh, let's move here. There we go. Back at it. America's divided more than ever, or seemingly every issue. Economic policy, military interventions, civil rights, and just about whatever you can fit on the nightly news. Now more than ever, however, we must bring Americans together to create a more free, equal America. That said, a free and equal America requires a lot of work to turn from fantasy to fact. The first step is securing bipartisanship in Congress. And our best bet is some kind of coalition with more liberal Republicans. Let's show the Republicans that our values are quite similar by working on a War Powers Act together, which would limit the president's power to unilaterally plunge America into war, like in South Africa. If they learn to like working with us on this, support for a future Civil Rights Act would be almost guaranteed. But we must keep the prize in sight. Congress, and really all politics, is a tricky game. How far do you push your morals in favor of pragmatism? What's a war vote really worth? And more. With this bill, we've faced a certain decision we must make as we draft a War Powers Act. Do we make the act as clear and direct as possible, or do we leave a few loopholes here and there? Making an airtight bill would certainly be the moral choice, and perhaps more popular. But if we leave even a few loopholes, we could satisfy some of the war hawks in Congress. Well, sometimes we have to focus more on what's realistic rather than what's right. Plus, I don't want to hinder my ability to declare war. That's what makes this game fun. I am. Probably get working on, yeah, some more infantry weapon support equipment. Some far-right members of the MPP are complaining that we give the executive branch too much power in the War Powers Act. They feel we'll do the same when it comes to civil rights, which they view as undue government tyranny. This is, of course, absurd, but we could count on more complete congressional support if we alter the language of the act somewhat, even might scare off a few Republicans. We can't go back now. Send it to the floor. Our recent refusal to tone down the War Powers Act in accordance with the MPP far-right demand to alter the language of the act has earned us some respect with the anti-segregationists and civil rights leaders, but has also led to Strom Thurmond and withdrawals decrying our so-called undignified, callous, and immature conduct. Thankfully, this hasn't led to any serious implications, and what limited impact it has led to will likely fade with time. We've even had some of our Republican colleagues speak to the press in support of our administration after refusing to let them in. Why does bipartisanship have to be so damn hard? Senate vote of War Powers Act is not to wait Robert's desk, which means a victory for us and our coalition. Hypothetically, this means we've just achieved a great success of bipartisanship in America, but it just seems like we've dug the party trenches even deeper. We set out not only to prevent another South Africa, but show America how to work together. And while we got the job done in the end, the cracks we got a long way of worrying. Still, what's done is done. And we must look towards the future, not the past. There will likely be another opportunity to showcase bipartisanship soon, and to guarantee the Republicans that we're the people to work with when it comes to civil rights. A win's a win. On to the next bill. Will look like a less liberal candidate, but like I think I've said that before, that's actually probably good for us. Because I don't want to get shot. America's always been a land of progress, with each era bringing new innovations and opportunities through the wonders of science and industry. But progress has come with cost. The ravages of unchecked development has waged devastation upon the great beauty of nature. The skies choke with smog just as the land lies awash with waste. Something must be done to ensure that we do not squander the bounty of our great country. Our newest bill will introduce a slew of environmental protections and regulations aimed at reducing the impact of human development on the natural world. Businesses and government institutions would be encouraged to monitor and reduce their reliance on pollution, chemicals, inefficient practices, and irresponsible waste disposal, among other such ills. Certain incentives also encourage the adoption of green policies that are also inclusive in the bill, including increased taxation on pollutive products and subsidies for organizations that adopt environmentally friendly initiatives. Before we submit the bill, we must figure out a strategy. Our cooperation with the authorities has presented an opportunity that we may have to exploit in this matter. A number of Democratic senators have expressed a great passion for the cause of environmental protection. If we were to offer them a seat on the table to help draft the bill, we could shore up their support for when it comes to the vote. On the other hand, their passion may prove rather counterproductive, as there are certain requests where we introduce even stronger protections that may not prove as palatable to the rest of government. Decision lies with Kennedy. Bring them to the table. Why not? And, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to cut it here. Thank you as always for watching, however. If you like this video, go and leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you want to see more of this content feature, go ahead and hit the subscribe button for more uploads every weekday, as well as every Saturday. If you have any comments, feedback, concerns, anything of the sort, go and leave them in the comment section below. I read all the comments I get and appreciate any all feedback you kind of folks might have for me. If you want to feedback my way, I have a Patreon down below. We can chat, play games, and have just a good old time in general. And, yeah, that's about it for now, folks. Thank you as always for watching. My name has been DB333, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.